Hi there, welcome to Terraland Soap Opera. Today I'm going to do a reading for Leo energy. And like usual, we're going to do two rows. The top row is going to be high vibe Taurus energy. When we have hope and faith and belief in our dreams and we're treating ourselves in a loving, compassionate, forgiving manner so that we can free ourselves of the past and move forward in life. And the bottom row is going to be where more shadowy or more worldly focused Leo energy. It could be a battle going on within you or other people in the world in their Leo energy, because sometimes we're at those difficult turning points in life where it's like, am I willing to be bold and brave? And am I willing to let go of some old ways of being to be free of those things? Or am I going to keep doing life the way I've done it and kind of maybe staying in ways of being that aren't that healthy or loving, or being in relationship with people who aren't that healthy or loving, or jobs or whatever. And we're torn. And then there's some people who are definitely on the high vibe path. They have definitely seen some truth that they are not repeating that pattern of way of living or relationship anymore. And they're determined to not be in their ego about it, to get out of their inner conflict about it, listening to their intuition, to have victory over the past, to learn the lesson they were meant to learn. And some people are definitely in their shadowy energy. They could be, well, we start out with the deceit card, the attachment card, the thinking man, the contract card, and adjacent possibilities. And that came out as the man. The reason it came out is because of the man holding heart. This doesn't have to be a man. We all take action in masculine energy. So the way to read this so you can apply it to everyone in your life is who presents themselves in the world as like a loving family person, but they're kind of being deceitful. They're preying on other people who are maybe loving. I know you want to be in a relationship. I know you want this relationship to work. I'm going to try to present myself as being just like you so that I can get you attached in a relationship. This makes logical, practical sense. Let's get in a relationship or a marriage. And then once I have you in it, you know, I'm still looking at my options, because if people aren't in a relationship based on love, why are they in it? Well, I'm in it because I want to be indulged in a relationship. So if I get someone in a relationship so I can kind of indulge myself in a relationship, and people look at me as like, oh, look, they got in a relationship. Maybe they are more loving or whatever than I thought they were. It's kind of to benefit their image. And then it's to use that image that they present and that they acquire from getting in relationships with other people to open up other opportunities for them. Some people are real social climbers. Shadowy Leo energy. I want to be in the spotlight. I want people to view me a certain way. I'm always looking to have more victory and more success in shadowy Leo energy, operating from ego. And, we learn some hard lessons when we're in shadowy energy, when we don't want to grow up and mature ourselves and shed some old ways of being to move forward in a new way. Kind of like, no, I insist on staying like a 21-year-old all my life, even though I'm 25 or 55. They're going to learn some hard lessons, because when other people in the world who are kind of deceitful, who can sense that some other people aren't who they say they are, and they think, you know what, I think this person might be a little bit more someone who lives more from their mind than their heart, who might be more ego driven, image driven, materialistically driven. Shadowy people end up having other shadowy people come into their life to reveal the mask that's hidden, that they're hiding behind. Because the divine, if we're shadowy, the divine is going to, because that's like an injustice in the world, and is to reveal the truth of what people are really attached to. Some people were already deceitful, and the mask was revealed, that they do live more from their mind than their heart, that they do think it's just and fair to align with their more egoic, materialistic nature. And if they felt like they had other opportunities available, they went and presented themselves as loving to those people to try to get those people in a relationship because they're selfish or greedy or materialistic. And for some of those people, other people have kind of seen the truth, because other people could view people as loving, but then when other people do things that seem to be contrary to that, like say the loving people, or, say some shadowy people were in a relationship with someone who is loving, who seemed to be intuitive, who doesn't seem to be prideful, egotistical, manipulative, shallow, superficial. People wonder, like, why did someone end a relationship with those people? Well, you got to wonder why people didn't want to stay in a relationship with people like that. Well, for one reason they didn't stay in a relationship with people like that is because they're defensive in the Five of Swords. They could, again, be people who want to operate more from their egoic nature. I kind of view this card as the Five of Swords in Aquarius energy, where they don't have to be an Aquarius, but their dream is they're more driven and motivated by the world. I want to look like a shining star in the world. I want the money and the image and the status. That's my truth. And if they got themselves in a relationship with someone in like Pisces energy, who is someone who has hope and faith and belief and love, that they could have moved forward with and had an authentic, loving relationship with, it's kind of like, well, but I don't know, is that going to bring me the money and the materialism and the status and the image that I want? It's some people want to be in the cool kid club. I don't want to. I really want to. I have mental conflict because maybe those people weren't willing to be in a relationship with me, and I'm driven and motivated to want to be in that group. It wasn't to be in the loving group. They kind of found themselves in a mismatched relationship. And the loving people that they were in a relationship with kind of ended up having mental conflict being in a relationship, because this person might present themselves as like a loving family person to them and to other people in the world, but the truth is they're not being authentic. They kind of hide behind their emotionally defensive, egoic nature, and live more from their mind than their heart, and could be emotionally cold and detached, and and that's how those people think it's just and fair. They're blind to the fact that, maybe I really should be loving. Maybe I really should be giving and nurturing and supportive. But we all have free will. And some people have already decided, I'm not doing love. I could get hurt doing that. I've been hurt before. And they gave up on their dreams. And instead of standing up for themselves and believing in their dreams and listening to their intuition and having victory over negative people and negative events and things that happened in their life, to look at life from a higher perspective and keep having hope and faith and belief in their dreams and aligning with love and hope and faith, they gave up on that. And they aligned to being defensive to that. I now fear love. Other people have hurt me. I know. I think I have a good idea. I'm just going to keep presenting myself as like loving, but I'm really going to operate from my mind. I think that's where I'll be successful, protecting myself at all costs and being hurt. I'll just try to present myself as harnessing high vibe Leo energy, get in relationships with other people who are loving and nurturing and warm, and I'll try to pretend I'm just like them. It's just that that's an illusion. And eventually other people listen to their intuition and they start to realize that the person they got in a relationship with isn't being authentic. They're being deceitful. And that And then we have these two cards that aren't showing themselves. The happy family and rest and rejuvenation. I know. I'm just going to turn them sideways so that I remember that they were not showing themselves. You know, sometimes people, we've all been hurt before, right? We all wish, you know, that we would have grown up in the idyllic family growing up, and you know, we can blame everyone else for our problems. That I would be more bold and brave and confident if my parents would have done this and this and this. You know, but as children, we're very egotistical and self-centered. And then some people have gone through atrocious things in their life, and you know that's awful. But people who went through atrocious things, that's atrocious. But even people, regardless of what they went through, if they don't want to give up on their dreams and let negative energy and negative people and unkind people and unloving people control their life and keep them defensive, the difference between people who do overcome that are the people who, behind the scenes, what other people didn't know is that they are aligned with their more loving, intuitive nature, and they believe in their dreams, and they do this work within themselves to keep defending the truth of what they believe in. I believe in a higher truth and justice. There's people in the world that have caused me a lot of mental conflict because they were deceptive and they didn't win the battle within themselves to overcome their more shadowy nature. And so they acted shadowy in the world, but they could have presented themselves as loving family people to the world. And when you get in relationships with people who try to present themselves as being loving, needless, if you're in a relationship or grow up with people like that, it can be really causing a lot of mental conflict, which is what this card talks about. That I don't feel people are who they present themselves to be. I think some people have some issues they haven't dealt with that, you know, they might stay in the family or the relationship because it seems logical and practical, and by worldly standards, it looks just and fair, but they within themselves seem to be blind to realizing that they have free will within themselves. And regardless of who we're in relationship with or who we work with, we can make the free will choice to love ourselves and free ourselves and not let other people have so much impact and influence upon how we choose to be in a relationship. But you know, we can grow up in families where the people that were also in that family were really impacted by the people they were in relationship with, who they had to focus all their time and attention on, because sometimes people in their shadowy energy are very prideful, egotistical, self-centered, manipulative, want everybody to focus on them, and some other people did focus on them. And everybody kind of could have made, you know, the people who are more bossy or controlling or prideful or egotistical, you know, the center of attention. And then other people in the workplace or the family dynamic, you know, really didn't get what they deserved in a relationship because everybody was so consumed indulging someone who was kind of in shadowy energy. And you might know some people right now who keep indulging people in their life who really don't have their best interest at heart. You know, I want it to be more about me. You should be loyal to me. I might try to instill fear and insecurity within you so you don't love yourself, but your loyalty should be to me. And some people aren't seeing the truth about people they're aligned with in their life. That those people don't have their best interests. It could cause them mental conflict to be around them, but they love them. And so the truth sets us free, and some people haven't wanted to see the truth about people in their life that they align themselves with. And why would some people keep aligning themselves with those people? Because there's a part of them in their shadowy nature that could feel safe and secure with them, that it seems logical and practical. Again, not wanting to see the truth. In our shadowy energy, we're more codependent on other people for our sense of emotional well being, our sense of emotional stability, for our sense of worth and value. And if they have people in their life that, in order to detach from them, like listen to their intuition about those people in their life that could be in their own family or that they love, that some people have a lot of mental conflict about seeing the truth that some people in their life that they love aren't really authentically who they present themselves to be, that they might be people who like to present themselves as loving in the world, but they have their own issues that they deal with. They might wear a false mask. They might do things in life that they think seem just and fair and logical and practical. But the biggest thing between shadowy energy and high vibe energy is high vibe people are willing to be authentic in the world. That's high vibe Leo energy. I have moved out of my more immature nature, which could be a problem for some of these people. They're kind of immature. I have moved out of my more prideful, egotistical, it should be all about me. Some other people might have a problem with doing that. I am not going to be manipulated by my fear, my insecurity, my pride, my ego, or the world. I deserve to live my authentic life. I deserve high vibe energies about being free in the energy of love. I offer other people love and respect and kindness. I treat them the way I would like to be treated. If people want to work together with me in that energy, we can move forward together. But if other people are still, shadowy energy can be prideful, egotistical, jealous, envious, and stuff like that. They can have a problem with people who are more free than them. Why do you love and believe in yourself? That makes me think about how you seem to be more free than me. And, are we willing to do the work within ourselves to free ourselves so we can be free like them? Or do we just be jealous and petty and envious of people who are more free than we are? We have the free will choice to free ourselves, but we have to do this work behind the scenes. Why are some people healed? Why are some people believing in themselves and believing in their dreams? Because they did this work. They learned to love themselves. And, we're more than just what we present ourselves in the world. We can't be so much in our ego and so worried about what other people think about us, because that's part of the illusion. Sometimes people who are in their shadow energy, living from more from their mind and their heart, think, isn't it all about trying to manipulate people into viewing me a certain way? How about living your life authentically and not trying to manipulate people about who you are? But some people have been brought up to think that the most important thing is what other people think of you and how they view you. But that's an illusion. Those people think whatever the fuck they think regardless. So wake up out of the illusion. Everybody else is living their life. Some of those people might be trying to manipulate people to think the most important thing is what people think of them. But who knows what the fuck other people are thinking? Who gives a damn what other people are thinking? People are going to they're either loving, just, fair, gracious, giving, warm, compassionate, that we're fallible human being people, or they're not. And they're going to be people who judge people critically and are malicious and maligning and gossipy and whatever about them, regardless of how they live their life. But some people so badly want to appeal to the masses that they've made their whole life about this illusion. I have to live my life this certain way. I have to present myself this certain way. I have to make people believe in me this certain way and view me this certain way. That's how I derive my sense of worth and value in the world. Oh my God, can you imagine how stressful that is and how imprisoning and enslaving it is when you feel like when you go out in the world, it's always trying to monitor the crowd. How are people viewing me? How are people perceiving me? Do people view me as a just and fair person? How about you authentically be that? And the people who are intuitive Appreciate that you're a just and fair and loving and authentic person, and you're a fallible human being who's going to make mistakes like them. And they're going to grant you grace for the fact that you're a fallible human being who isn't perfect. And quit trying to appeal to the masses, because the masses, it could just be all in people's mind that people are even doing this, but I definitely think we can get caught up in it, and I think I definitely know some people who are still all caught up in it. The most important thing is what people view me, and people have to view me a certain way, and I have to do all these things in order to, and it's like living a life to appeal to the masses. It's like they've sold their soul to the world, not listening to their intuition, not doing the things in life that really motivate and inspire them, not being in relationships with the people who they really love, who motivate and inspire them, who love them. Oh, well, I don't know if people view them a certain way. I got to be with these people, and I got to hang out with these people. And I might not even like these people, but I need to be viewed a certain way. It's like, oh my God. Some of those people had loving people in their life that they could have moved forward with, but they're so consumed with image and status and keeping up with the Joneses and people viewing them a certain way. And if they didn't think the loving way of living their life and the people they could have aligned themselves with would bring them that, they deceive themselves. And odds are they're going to learn some really painful lessons, because the people who maybe are presenting themselves as loving to those people, that are trying to get them to reject being authentically themselves, believing in themselves, believing in their dreams, believing in love, being in relationship with loving people, the very people they're probably trying to align themselves with apparently aren't the loving people, intuitive people, just and fair people. And the very people who they could be wanting to be in a relationship with could be presenting themselves as loving to them because they're in shadowy energy, which in Leo, well, regardless, shadowy energy is competitive energy. The very people who could want them to keep being loyal to them, whether it's their family members or their friend group or a romantic interest. I don't like the people in your life who are authentic and loving and warm. It kicks up my competitive energy because I like to view myself as loving, but mine is more of a false front mask that I wear. I really do it more strategically because I'm trying to get people to view me that way. And the people you're in relationship with are just authentically loving. And it's not like a strategy, and that bothers me because that makes me, that saying, your light irritates their demons, makes them realize that they wear more of a false mask, that the way they are in relationships is more strategic, and they are trying to manipulate the world because they're manipulated by the world. And they don't make the free will choice in the adjacent possibilities to heal. To heal from their past pain and heartbreak that makes them act this way to begin with. To see the truth about why am I jealous and envious of people who are more loving and authentic and warm than I am. It might irritate me because I kind of wear a false front and try to present myself as being that to create the illusion of that. But if I wasn't creating the illusion of being that, it wouldn't irritate me to be around people who are really that. I wouldn't be like jealous and envious of them. So maybe I am presenting a false front. Maybe I'm really not who I say I am. Maybe I should give this some thought and consideration of maybe I've kind of been hiding behind my egoic nature instead of authentically being myself in the world, which means I am kind of, in a way, it could be fear of being judged or fear of people rejecting you. And if people don't have a very strong emotional foundation within themselves and they haven't worked upon that, or just to see through the illusion that, everybody's going to be who they are. I don't control other people. And I shouldn't try to control other people. And I shouldn't take it upon myself as a personal affront if other people choose to be unkind or unjust or unfair or unloving. I deserve to be free and to put myself out there in the world authentically. And I'm not going to take responsibility for other people, how they choose to respond. If they choose to respond in a shadowy way, then I see they are still attached to their shadowy nature and they haven't freed themselves and they haven't seen the beauty within themselves to love and believe in themselves, to put in work and effort to see the truth and be more balanced within themselves. So they have to offer themselves love and compassion and forgiveness to heal from the past, so they're not acting out of their more emotionally defensive and prideful and defensive ways of being to get the justice they deserve. And they maybe just haven't kind of recognized that they have free will. They have the free will to be just and fair and loving and love themselves, but it's a free will choice. And some people haven't done that work within themselves. So sometimes those people aren't very loving out in the world. They don't treat others the way other people treat them. If we haven't learned to empower ourselves from love, sometimes shadowy people can try to feel a sense of empowerment by being hostile and defensive to other people. And if it makes other people defensive or feel hurt, then they feel a sense of power, like, I'm so powerful. Look at what I did. And they're sad and they're hurt. Well, for one, that isn't a good way to build your self-esteem, that I'm hurtful and unkind and unjust and unfair. It's a shadowy way to try to feel powerful. And other people just are more materialistically focused and money focused, and that's where they think victory will come from. And instead of listening to their intuition, they're more deceived by their own egoic nature of, I don't love and believe that I can manifest my dreams into reality. I don't want to be emotionally vulnerable in relationships. I can get hurt. I'm going to make my life more about money and materialism and status and image to look like a shining star. I'm going to try to get in relationships with people to, of course, I'm not going to tell them that I'm kind of fearful and insecure or emotionally defensive. I'm going to try to present myself as being something that I'm not. And it doesn't work out because eventually the high vibe people listen to their intuition. And there might be some people that are in a mismatched relationship like this right now, or have friends or family members or coworkers they work with that they've been trying to love and encourage to love and believe in themselves. And eventually it gets exhausting because it's kind of like a black hole. It's kind of like they've decided, oh, well, since you keep indulging me and you seem to have mental conflict about loving and believing in yourself and moving on from me, well, I'm just going to indulge in the relationship. I like this. You keep being loving and encouraging to me, and I'm going to keep being all about me and kind of never dealing with my issues and never seeing the truth. And I'm just going to indulge in a relationship. And one day, boom, like that, like the rapture in the Bible. Where did people go? Why'd they leave? It's because those people have been doing this work from a place of love, and they're starting to realize that my dreams aren't going to come into reality with you, and I have a dream. And I see you keep not doing this work within yourself to work together with me from a place of love and justice and fairness and balance. I'm starting to see the truth that isn't what you're driven and motivated by. You're still all about yourself, wanting it to be all about you, where everyone else puts aside their pride and ego in the relationship, but never you. But yet, people should just be happy to be in a relationship because you present yourself as a loving family person. Like, that's good enough? That's not good enough. Being in shadowy energy, where you either keep staying emotionally detached and defensive to being authentic so this relationship can grow and mature and I can have a deep, meaningful relationship with someone, and you're defensive to doing that, or you want to be in the relationship and for me to keep staying in the relationship because of your own fears and insecurities, or because it looks successful by worldly standards, or being in a relationship with me makes you look successful, or because I am stable or whatever in the world, you have those things too, but yet you're not contributing to it being to bringing the dream into reality. You're just indulging in it. You're not taking off your mask and speaking your truth and doing the work to be balanced within yourself, so you're not taking action in the relationship that's hurtful and unkind. People have the free will choice in the relationship to be open and honest and authentic and loving. And some people are afraid of doing that. For one, they might not want to be vulnerable. For one, they might like the scales tipped in their favor. They don't really like to have to do equal give and take. They don't really like to have to put in work and effort. They kind of want to be this privileged person in the relationship where you do all the work to make it happy and balanced and loving, and I'm just going to indulge in it, staying the way I am, and I am never going to detach from any of those ways of being, to grow and mature myself, to listen to my intuition, to detach from my more egoic or immature or self-centered or materialistic view of life, but I want you to stay in a relationship with me because this is good for my ego and my image, and you're loving and nurturing, and I like that. It's like, well, I want to be in a relationship with someone who's like that. And you keep showing me you're not that. So some people right now are letting go of some people they have been defending, and offering love and encouragement to. Because it's like, it takes, if you're going to work together with someone, it takes two. If you're working with a group of people, the whole group has to be on board that this is more important than each of us individually. We all have to compromise. In our worldly nature, it's I want. It's all about me, my dreams, my wants, my lusts, my greed, my pride, my ego. Everybody should make it about me. Well, then go live by yourself. But if you're going to work together with other people, everybody has to shave off some of the things that they maybe won't be able to do. And being selfish and greedy and self-centered and, immature and lazy and prideful and blah, 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 has to go. If other people are being disciplined within themselves to temper their more me nature, they want to move forward with other people who have disciplined themselves to temper their me nature. People who have detached from their more egoic way of life, and other people in their life who compete, kind of like people who want to compete with the people in your life that you're trying to build your life with. Loving people. It's kind of like family who doesn't want your loyalty should remain to them. You can get married, but your loyalty, we always take the first priority in your life. That's not right. This is the person I'm going to build a life with. I'm going to have children with. These people are the priority in my life. Not to say that their original family is less than, but it served its time and place. It's time for the birds to fly out of the nest and go make their own nest, and there's equal respect for that family, but this is the priority. This is my future. You are my sibling. You are my friend. Just like a friend group is like, well, we should take priority in your life. They're just a periphery to us. It's like, no, these are the people that I'm building my life with, just like you are maybe going to go build a life with someone. Why do some people not want people to be independent and believe in themselves and believe in their dreams and move forward with the loving people in their life? Maybe because they'd have the life of their dreams, and some of these other people who could be friends or siblings or whatever, they've settled for a more superficial life and relationship, and got in relationships more to be safe and not really have to be authentic and not really have to be vulnerable, and it makes them feel safe and comfortable. And it would bother them if the other people really loved and believed in themselves and manifested a wonderful relationship based on love into reality, because it highlights the fact that they operated more from their emotionally defensive, egoic nature and maybe settled for less than they deserved. So it's like, and then other people, I want you to always look to me instead of listening to your intuition and trusting and believing in yourself. I like a sense of feeling powerful and control over you. I might be living my life whatever way I want, but I like to instill fear and insecurity in you to make you doubt yourself, cause you mental conflict, so you always defer to me, and that makes me feel important. And then other people, it's like, looks like that person looks like their dreams are going to come into reality. I don't like that. I'm in my ego. I'm going to see if I can cause them mental conflict, because I do think there's someone who isn't being authentic, or something hasn't healed and they're not who they're presenting themselves to be. I'm going to come in and tempt this person to let go of those people. I'm going to tell them that I want to balance things out with them. And this person has a lot of life lessons to learn. Some of them could love those people. But if they have people, if we keep being, I don't know, have any of you ever gotten in a relationship with someone where it almost seemed like you were addicted? I think that goes to show when we have a lot of life lessons to learn. And that's why someone like that can keep coming back into our life and we keep getting back in the relationship. And the reason why we'll keep being drawn and attracted to them is because there's something we haven't wanted to see. And it could just be, I think the hardest lesson to learn is about loving and believing in yourself. And some people could be a very loving person, but they're not used to being in relationships with other people who treat them that way. And so it is kind of creating an illusion, because their pattern and what they're used to is feeling like I'm a loving person by kind of trying to heal other people, indulging other people who are kind of prideful and egotistical. And I really haven't learned to love myself, to be open to my divine inheritance of being in relationship with other people who treat me the way I treat them, because I haven't really learned to love myself. And so some people could do that. Some people are more shadowy, and other people know that, and they know that they're more tempted by money and materialism. And for some people, they could be attractive, they could be charming, and they do it for their own selfish reasons. And some people always fall for it, and there might be somebody falling for it again. Someone could pop up in their life who doesn't have their best interests at heart. I need an ego boost. Are you willing to let go of listening to your intuition about me? Are you still confused about the truth of who I am? Have I showed you many times that I kind of wear a false mask, and because the whole thing is, it's interesting how it plays out is within ourself, we have our more loving, intuitive nature, and within ourself, we have our more fearful, insecure, codependent nature. And then there's people in the world who represent those aspects of ourself and have those traits and characteristics. Which one are we more drawn to being in relationship with? Why would we be more drawn to getting in relationship with people who seem to represent our more shadowy nature? I would say, we have some lessons to learn. Nothing's wasted in the universe. We're going to learn lessons either way. But for those of you who have learned a lot of difficult lessons in your life and you're tired of it and you're like, God, I don't want to have to learn any more hard lessons. I am going to do this work within myself to love and believe in myself and believe that I deserve to be in relationships with people who treat me the same way I treat them. And I am going to listen to my intuition. And the victory card kind of reminds me of the Six of Wands card of Leo. I am going to get out of my ego. Why would part of us be tempted to get in a relationship with someone who maybe has hurt us before, rejected us? Because there's that part of us that was wounded, and to feel validated, like they did love us, but if they've shown us that they're really not a very loving, giving person, they're in it for their own selfish, greedy reasons. If they've already shown us the truth that they're prideful and egotistical and selfish, and we have different people in our life, so listen to your intuition. We've definitely had people in our life who, when we were in a relationship, and it could have become blatantly obvious, and when we were in the relationship, we could have seen, oh, they're immature, they're impulsive, they lack self discipline, they're kind of selfish and greedy and about themselves, they have addictions, they're more consumed with ego and image and money and materialism. And then we have people in our life who we don't think are, those ways as like a way of being. We all go through our growing stages of getting out of those ways of being. But when we were in a relationship with them, we think at the core of who they, and who they presented themselves in the world is loving, is nurturing, is inspired by love, does equal give and take in a relationship. But we could have had people that weren't able to move forward with us in a relationship because just some people hadn't learned to love themselves and to be willing to accept love from others, but we know they're a loving person. Some of those people might want to come back into people's life, or you trying to get into other people's lives again once you've learned those lessons, other people having learned those lessons, wanting to come back in your life. And I think it's completely different than the people in your life who showed you during the relationship that they're not open to love. They're not willing to be vulnerable. They were secretive. They were more about themselves. You came to realize over time that they are much more ego driven, materialistically driven, and defensive to being in loving relationships. Not those people. Those people are probably have chosen that this is how they're going to live their life. They don't want to be in like deep emotional relationships. They have fear of that. They'd rather live from their emotionally defensive, egoic nature. But there could be other people just like you who got in relationships to learn a lesson that we can stay in those type of relationships that cause us mental conflict because we did have a dream. We're being loving and encouraging and supportive, and other people aren't. That are we willing to love ourselves enough to let those people go, to believe in our dreams? And if our intuition is telling us it's time to see the truth and quit being in denial of the truth. Some people have already stood up against that, and they've listened to their intuition and they've moved forward. And then they could have communicated to other people who they might have previously not stayed in relationship with, or even chosen to get in relationship with, because they hadn't learned to really love themselves. So kind of not even drawn and attracted in a way to the other loving, nurturing people in the world, because their way of love was to love other people who kind of were maybe in need of love, but realizing that those people didn't choose love. And so now it's like realizing, if I want to be in loving, nurturing relationships, and I don't want it just to be me, I have to open myself up to being that I deserve to be loved too. And then it's kind of no longer rejecting your own loving yourself. Like, no, love is me loving other people. Being able to love yourself so that then you can let other people love you, because you're no longer kind of rejecting yourself and thinking, no, I can be loving, but I'm not used to people loving me. It's like, no, I deserve to accept that other people can love me. And that is going through our own past pain and heartbreak of, why can I be a loving person but be rejecting of thinking of accepting other people loving me? And it could be because you're not used to it. And so doing that work to heal, so that to get your divine inheritance. And if you've communicated with other people, those people might be having to do this work within themselves if they got themselves tangled up in something where they have that pattern of being loving to other people, but they're in a relationship where someone isn't treating them the way they treat people. And you could be inspiring other people to listen to their intuition, to get out of their ego, because why would we keep trying to get people who've shown us kind of that they don't choose love to love us? That's us in our ego, like as if that will validate my worth and value. And we don't have to make people like that love us. We can love ourselves and offer ourselves all the things we wish they would have given us, offer ourselves the love and the compassion and the forgiveness and the encouragement every day to be our own best mother, father, coach voice in our head, so that we can let that go, no longer trying to get people who to love us. I accept that you are where you are at. And you might be a little prideful. You might be a little egotistical. You might be a little immature and impulsive. You might be self-centered and materialistic. I accept it. I wish you peace. I'm moving on. I don't need to try to get you to love me. I love me. And that could be the very reason why you could have some people coming into your life to defend you because they know you're that type of person. Just like you know some people in your life are that way, and you're going to stand up and defend them versus the people in your life who you previously could have defended because you were caught up in the illusion of who they were, and then you saw the truth. And it was hard to detach from that because, again, by worldly standards, it could have looked very successful and victorious. It just wasn't based on love, and it caused you a lot of mental conflict when you could have realized that the person you were in a relationship with wasn't someone who really does love or gets in relationships because of love, that it is more driven by it looks good, it looks successful, it looks victorious, we should stay in the relationship. And you're like, I have a dream, and my intuition is telling me I need to move away from this because I can't just keep balancing my emotions out about being in this relationship and always trying to help you balance out your emotions. You have to do work within yourself to heal that makes you act in this defensive way. And apparently being loving and nurturing and supportive wasn't enough for you to be inspired to do that work. And part of that can be because some people in their fiery energy are never motivated to do the work. You have to be motivated to even be inspired to want to heal, to want to look at why you do what you do, why you're aligned to certain things in the world, certain ways of being. You have to be motivated to want to self-reflect, to heal on it. And there's a lot of people that are like, no, it's done, it's over, I'm not looking at it. And they think it'll magically go away, but it affects how they are in relationships. It still has a hold on them, and they haven't freed themselves from it. And if they keep showing you that they're not willing to free themselves from it, then they made their free will choice, and we have to quit being an illusion about it and get out of our ego about it, that we could have wanted a dream to come into reality with people who aren't willing to do the work to free themselves from what enslaves and imprisons them. And we wish them peace, and we move on. We believe that the divine has a different plan for our life, that this whole situation could have come up for us to learn to love and believe in ourselves, that we can love people and not be in relationship with them. So tell us about what's coming up for the people who harness high vibe Leo energy, who might be in relationships with people now who are loving and intuitive and or going to get in those type of relationships. Well, we have a card coming out not showing itself, and you're calling judgment on people in your life who didn't choose to be open and authentic and loving. And you're deciding to keep listening to your intuition, not get caught up in your head into your fear or your insecurity or your pride or your ego, but to keep listening to your intuition to guide you forward. And the reason you're able to do that is because you harness this energy in a high vibe way, and you're willing to cut out this energy in your life in a shadowy way, and other people who harness that energy in a shadowy way. The Five of Pentacles. Other people sometimes who are kind of manipulative and hurtful or unkind or bossy or controlling, self-centered in a relationship, they think that you will never detach from them, that you will not love and believe in yourself enough to get out of your ego about it and what you want, to move forward in life and detach from them, to take the lesson that you've learned to move forward in life. And you did. Part of the reason why they thought you'd never do that is because they've never done that. They have all these things that manipulate and control them: the world, ego, image, lust, greed, immaturity, other people in their life. They've never detached from those things. So they didn't think you would either. And you did. And what they don't know, well, they also probably don't know how you're doing this, because they don't live their life that way, and they don't ever do this work within themselves behind the scenes to kind of love themselves, love their worldly nature, to have hope and faith and belief in themselves and their dreams, to connect in with their more enlightened, emotionally intuitive, like higher self nature, to move forward trusting their intuition to guide them. They keep thinking they are the smartest bulb in the box, and they keep thinking they know better, and ego's the way, competing is the way, looking like the winner's the way, the victorious one, that's the way. We just got to beat other people, make it look like we beat out other people, that's the way. And they just don't get that you've done this well, and also that you operate from a different foundation than them. Five of Pentacles is Taurus energy. They could operate from a more worldly or shadowy Taurus energy. They're more driven and motivated by their ego in the world, and then they take action out of fear and insecurity and pride and ego, trying to compete in the world, trying to win, look like they're the winner, instead of getting out of their egoic nature and listening to their intuition, to align with peace and love and joy. Instead, it's like, no, I gotta win. No, I gotta control things. No, I gotta look like I'm the winner. No, I gotta look like blah, 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 blah. I got this image to maintain. It's like, oh my God, well, I hope you and your image and the things of the world that you have, I hope you're happy with it. I'm detaching, and I'm listening to my intuition to guide me that the divine has a plan for my life. And what you also might not see coming is the people in the world who've decided to move forward with you. There's other people in the world in your life that could have been manipulated by, isn't life about indulging in the world? Isn't life being more about me? Isn't life more about me indulging myself in the world or being the center of attention? Or, it's to give up that more worldly view of life, that if you want to be, again, in just and fair and balanced and loving relationships, you have to do that work within yourself to quit thinking that you can just manipulate people to get what you want. That's not very just and fair. And there's going to be people who are going to want to move forward with you in life as you move forward. What about, because those people also have dreams of being in relationships with people who don't try to manipulate them, who aren't being defensive and petty and envious and jealous. They want to be in relationship with other people who have learned to discipline themselves, who have grown up and matured themselves. Okay, what do the people who are in some shadowy Leo energy not see coming in their life? And also what this card is realizing that you know, when you choose to stand up for yourself and speak your truth about the dream that you have, people make their free will choices and it's hard. But the people who did want to move forward with you did move forward with you. And the people who they're not motivated and inspired by that, that's not their truth, they didn't move forward with you. And that can be hard. And that's why it kind of gets us in our ego. And we kind of want to live in fantasy land thinking that they'll come along one day. You know, there's just some people where they're so defensive of being hurt and being authentic in the world that they always let their ego run their life. And what can really be hard to face is that some of the people who could have gotten in a relationship with you, it wasn't because of love. It was more of a strategy. It was good for their social mass. They thought, I think it'll backfire on them. But it's like, I wanted people to view me a certain way. So, you know, when I got in a relationship with you, it made people view me like I wasn't who they could have thought I was based on things I did before. And it was good for my ego and my image, but it really was kind of just a means to make it look like they had moved forward in life, like they had grown and matured themselves, that they had become a more loyal, committed, whatever person than they were. But eventually the gig was up. And some of the people realized, no, you are exactly who people thought you were in your past. I just didn't know the truth of who you were. Because some people wear a very good mask in the world. Some of you could have been dealing with narcissists. And it is just to get in a relationship to present this illusion of who they are. And then if someone else comes along and the traits and characteristics they've learned from the people they've been in relationship with, they can try to put those in their mask of like, look, this is who I am. You know, so I think it's funny sometimes if you listen to tarot. Sometimes, you know, like when they describe certain people, it's like they're the narcissist. A true narcissist would be someone who takes bits and pieces from all these people. So when they describe people, sometimes in the tarot video, I think it's funny because it's like, um, you know, it can be hurtful to the people listening to it because it seems like they're describing you. But I think it's really that it's those people who took your traits and characteristics and even described them as being you, but it's really that person presenting it in a shadowy way. I know that sounds really egotistical on my part, but I'm sure if any of you watch tarot enough, you know, but it is. It's like they take all these bits and pieces from people. And so then when they, as the narcissists, go out and present themselves in the world, in their mind, it is like they have that costume on of that person. And I am now trying to present myself as that person. But again, there's no substance behind it. It's a shell. And what's truly beneath the shell is in Queen of Pentacles energy. Emotionally, it is someone, and I view the Queen of Pentacles as shadowy Taurus. Well, in this case, it's shadowy Taurus. It is someone who's all about trying to maybe invest in relationships because they're very unstable, ungrounded, don't know how to love themselves. They could be very materialistically driven, ego driven, image driven, and they're willing to let go of any other foundation if another one comes along because they live more from their mind than their heart, and they were being deceitful and wearing a false mask anyway. They don't do love. You know, if someone else comes along that they think they can present themselves as loving to, or someone who presents themselves as loving to them, yeah, let go of the relationship I was in. I wasn't in it because of love. I'm aligned with my, emotionally, with my shadowy, worldly Taurus nature. It's all about image and money and materialism. That's what drives and motivates me. For some of those people, I do think it doesn't work out the way they think. And again, they have other people who see them in relationships with loving people. It's like shit, it looks like they're going to have their dreams come into reality. I don't think that person is who they say they are. I'm going to present myself as loving, being deceitful, and I'm going to wear my false mask and tell them that I want to balance things out with them. And because they are kind of driven by their ego and not love, they let go of the relationships that they were in with loving, nurturing people to go get in a relationship with someone because they're aligning with their more shadowy nature. They end up getting in relationships with people who promised them that they were going to get their divine inheritance. That's like the devil trying to tell people, come on over here, live life my way. You'll get your divine inheritance. And the divine is saying, do not be deceived. Do not be tempted in your lust and your greed and your fear and your insecurity. Keep listening to your intuition. Keep believing in yourself. And some of those people that got tempted by someone, it blew up in their face. That person never planned to be their marriage partner and give them all the things they promised them. I just presented myself as loving because I didn't like how it looked like your dreams were going to come into reality with someone. I don't like that person. I wanted them to have their life blow up. It didn't even have anything to do with you. Just like you use people as pawns in your mental chess game of life, I use people as pawns too, and you just got checkmated. And why does that happen? Because when we're not loving ourselves and seeing the truth and being in denial, we get in relationships with people to try to make us see the truth. You need to wake up. You are on the wrong path. This is not based on truth and love. Or the person you got in a relationship with isn't based in truth and love. And it's trying to get them to see the truth. Just like when you got in relationships with some people, it was to make you see the truth. For you to invest in loving and believing in yourself and believing in your dreams and not getting caught up in the illusion of the world and thinking your job was to love and nurture other people even though they don't love and nurture you. And some of the shadowy people who had things blow up in their face or are going to have things blow up in their face, some of them are too self-centered to see the truth. Some of those people might want to try to get back at the people who manipulated them and try to create an illusion with the people they rejected before. Oh no, I learned from all that. I've done the work, blah, 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 and I want to be back in a relationship with you because they know that'll upset the person who manipulated them. I mean, it's crazy how you can go round and round with these stories sometimes. If you know someone is kind of a vengeful, petty, manipulative, inauthentic person, if they come and present themselves to you, it might be just trying to get you back to being a pawn in their game to disrupt and blow up and try to blow up someone else's life. Listen to your intuition of who has really held themselves accountable, who really has detached from old ways of being, and who's just decided because they feel left out in the cold that what they went to go get and didn't work out, that now they want to be in a relationship with you. Because it would make them look like the winner or make them look victorious. But they still haven't seen the truth about how they have these illusions about relationships or in their ego and think it's about indulging themselves. And I think the people who are shadowy, who don't want to take off their mask, who don't want to be more authentic and vulnerable in the world, who kind of like either the world and living their life to indulge in the world or are like to be indulged in relationships. I think those people are mentally strategizing, trying to figure out how they can get what they want. And they're going to present themselves as loving to someone, saying that whatever they had been in didn't work out. and present themselves as being the just and fair person. But what they might not see coming, because I think what goes around comes around, and we all have every relationship we get into, there is the opportunity for people to do the work together. And some people have done that work together and gotten in loving relationships and they're moving forward victoriously. Some people are going to get in those relationships because they've all grown and matured themselves and learned lessons. But I think when we reject loving people in our life because there's some truth we haven't wanted to see, we're probably going to get in relationships with some people that are going to come into our life to reveal the truth. And for some of the people, they haven't wanted to see even the truth that they could be more driven by ego or materialism, but that it causes them mental conflict to acknowledge that truth to themselves because they could think, no, I'm not materialistic. No, I'm not, you know, and they could get in a relationship with someone who maybe does have the money, is willing to be in a relationship with them, and it creates the perfect illusion for the world. And that could be what makes them realize that, oh my gosh, I have even really maybe been really happy in this relationship and loving this relationship. But when I see other people who really seem to be more free than me and in more loving relationships than me, then that makes me realize that I had that opportunity to have that, but I rejected it. Why did I reject it? And that's when, they is trying to get them to deal with their own issues. But if some people are very prideful, egotistical, and materialistic, there's some people who are that way their whole life. And if some people who hide behind a false mask and their ego pretty much lives their life and, there is no substance to who they are and they're not someone who is very loving and giving within themselves, odds are they're probably going to stay that way. And they'll probably just stay in a very unstable, unloving relationship, but present themselves as everything being loving. And that's kind of when they see the truth that I'm willing to kind of put in work and effort into maintaining this relationship, maybe because of the money, where I wasn't willing to put in the work and effort in the other relationship because another opportunity came along, or I was more driven by the world and I wasn't willing to put in the work and effort. And now I see those people moving forward victoriously and having manifested their dreams in reality. And I could have been a part of that, but I didn't. And that's when it's kind of seeing the truth that I didn't do that either because I didn't love and believe in myself or because I wanted what I wanted now and I wasn't willing to be patient and I could have taken a different option because of all the things of the world that it had, but it's just not based on love. So there you go, Leo. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.